Hi, welcome to Vertiginous Golf, a indie game that we've been making for a while now. Hopefully we're going to be releasing it at the end of this year. Well, in fact we will be releasing it at the end of this year. We'll be releasing as open beta. We definitely have a few improvements that we'd like to make, obviously bug fixes and things like this based on feedback, but also the courses and the holes. We hope to have quite a selection of courses and holes for you to play, and hopefully we can kind of, during the beta period, we can experiment more, see what people kind of like, see what's kind of working, and yeah, end up with some really kind of crazy but interesting holes to play. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll go through the tutorial level just so you can get an idea of the kind of features, the tools that you've got to your disposal, and yeah, we'll just dive straight in. Okay, there is a little bit of a backstory to this whole kind of setup, the shop setup and everything, but I won't kind of go into it now. It's kind of one of those things that's kind of nice to discover. Okay, so we're presented with our player, which is a disembodied club, and your little companion, which is a mechanical hummingbird, which I'll kind of go into later. Okay, so aiming is very simple. It's click and drag the mouse, so we can click and drag, turn around, basically telling me to use the spacebar for the power, and head straight in that direction at full power. So I'll do that now. There are various obstacles in the game, like travelators, like you can see there, and then obviously there are these little TV screens that tell you, tell you the features of the game, help you through the tutorial. The scroll wheel zooms in and out to your character. You can go way in and kind of line shots up this way, or you can zoom way out and kind of check out your surroundings. Also, as a tool to check out your surroundings, we have the V key, which is your hummingbird. So we'll go and enter the hummingbird now. Yeah, we can basically fly around and check out our environment and see where what the best route to the hole would be. So with this being a tutorial course, it's fairly linear. It just wants to take you through, and it's mentioning a few things. But obviously the goal of the game is to get to the green. Now in this game, the green is situated in a sort of Crystal Palace type area, and in that Crystal Palace type area you're no longer allowed to use your chipping club, your pitching wedge basically. You can only use the putting club, as you would on a normal green, whereas everywhere else outside you're allowed to use your chipping club. So yeah, if I just press space to head straight back to my character, I'll change to the chipping club now, which this TV screen tells me to do, and aim over there. So I'll do full power again, just nice and simple for the tutorial, and we find ourselves over here. So now it's telling me to use either club, so I've got a choice now. Obviously it's up to the player how they want to navigate any of the courses. But yeah, now I can kind of chip it over to this other island, or use the pitching thing and use the little ramp there. Now this TV screen is telling us about the rewind power. Now that's an interesting little kind of mechanic that we've added. If you see the rewind power on the gauge there, the sort of the purpley one, that tells you how much you have to use. So if I go ahead now and make a shot, so I'll make a full power shot, and it's obviously too far, so I press A and I can rewind, and this does not lose me a shot whatsoever. I only obviously have a certain amount of this rewind power that I can use. Now the way it works, the way it recharges, is every time you use your putting club, you get a little bit of a recharge. However, when you use your pitching wedge, you don't get any recharge at all. So yeah, you kind of have to balance how you use that, but it is really good to kind of use and fine tune whereabouts you really want to aim it to. So if I kind of use the pitching club there, move the tree, yeah, I'm fairly happy with that, so I don't need to use any more rewind. But I obviously didn't gain any either, because I used the chipping wedge, the pitching wedge. Okay, so now it's telling me to go through some other tools that we've got in order to, you know, explore the level and find the optimum route that you want to take. It will basically go through various points of interest. So this is the first point of interest that we kind of came to. This is the second one we've just been at. This is where I am now, and then this is where I'm getting to from the other place there. So head back to my character. So just go into that little hole. Now throughout the actual levels, there will be lots of different pipes and different kind of routes to take. It's up to the player to kind of figure out which is the best for them, which kind of suits your play style, or you know, whatever skills you may or may not have in terms of aiming. Yeah, and I'll just get it a little closer, so it's a little easier to see that TV screen. Okay, teleporting. We have a little device here in front of us that basically, when the light's on, it will spit it out of that little machine. So I'll just fly around to show you there now. So there's like two cannons. There's an entry one in the center, and then two cannons either side. Whichever cannon is lit is the cannon that your ball will kind of fire out of once entering the center funnel. So I'll show you how that works now. So we're in, and it went down the lower one, but with it being a tutorial, it kind of spits you out into the same place as the other one. Okay, obstacles, many obstacles. Yeah, you'll figure that one out. These are moving carpets. Let's just try and get to this other bit. Fairly easy. It's not really much of a puzzle or skill test there. This again, with it being a tutorial. Okay, fans levitate. They will basically make your ball hover above this little contraption and hopefully onto this level. So let's try that now. We kind of go across and plunk. There we go. Okay, now helicopters. Helicopters have got an interesting thing. They do affect the wind, the sort of air movement around them. So as you can see, there's a little particle effect kind of indicating which way it's kind of going. And yeah, you basically don't want to get above them. They will suck you down, bring you down, as they can say. Okay, let's go through the gap. Ooh, one of them just caught me then a little bit. And then we can head up onto these little moving carpets. Into the water hazard there. Now, the water's interesting because it kind of does decrease your power. So you kind of need to pretty much put double the amount of effort into any shot, you know, to actually get the same distance. This little thing in front of us as well is interesting. It's a three-stroke hole. So if you enter these holes, you won't lose the shot. So this is the way to be able to navigate through a course in order to get to the hole, essentially in a hole-in-one, so you don't lose any shots. Now, they all have a little number above them. Now, I'll actually go through this little hole now. Doesn't work. Rewind. Didn't quite make that either. Okay. So I didn't actually lose a stroke then. But yeah, if you notice, the top of it now has an X, whereas the top one had a number 1. Now, because of this is a tutorial course, they don't actually change throughout the game, but in the real game, that number changes. So every time you take a shot, one of the numbers gets taken off that little hole. Each hole is different throughout all the different courses, and yeah, basically when you've had too many shots, that hole closes and you can no longer have access to it. So this one's just an example of one being closed, and then you can see it's not really enterable. Okay, into the green room, into the little green area. So if I head straight into here, I will no longer be able to change clubs once I enter this little room. This is kind of to change the puzzle up a little bit, to change the gameplay up a little bit when you actually do get into the green. However, this green is a very small one in comparison to the greens that are in the game. So I'll just head straight into there now, onto these strange spinning obstacles which I managed to avoid. And yeah, my only goal now is to get into the hole. And that didn't go so well. Yeah, okay. Yeah, not quite good enough. Now I could have probably rewound that shot and tried again, and you know, kind of honed my shots that way, spending the rewind power as you should. But for this demo, I kind of didn't bother. And we're in 17 shots, which is terrible. But I hope you would do a lot better, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the game when it releases. Thanks for listening.